Okay, before I start ripping this movie to shreds, just want to remind you that this is a spoiler review of The Rise of Skywalker. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, I would recommend clicking away right now. Or if you don't care about spoilers, fine, stick around. By the way, Kylo Ren dies. Joking aside, let me just get the things I actually liked about this film out of the way first. The visuals and the cinematography were beautiful. I mean, the cinematography in this movie was spectacular, and there are a lot of really great shots in this film. And the action scenes as well were very competently shot, and the lightsaber fights were very competently choreographed. Leia's death scene, as forced and ham-fisted as it was very emotional, and John Williams' score helped make it more tragic. I mean, in the context of the scene, it was still pretty forced and came out of nowhere. Like, seriously, for once in this godforsaken trilogy, we finally have a character from the original trilogy die in a way that's not fucking insulting. John Williams' score in this movie is masterful, as always, and the acting in this movie was spot on too. Every actor in this film did a great job with what they were given. Well, that was all the good stuff. Now, where did this movie go wrong? Well, where shall I start? How about Palpatine's return? Okay, let me make this clear right fucking now. Palpatine coming back from the dead is a horrible idea, since it completely voids and nulls Darth Vader's death. After watching this film, I'm pretty much never gonna watch episode 6 the same way again, because now we know that Vader pretty much died for nothing, so his death will not have the same impact as before. Yeah. Remember all that great stuff in Return of the Jedi with Luke defying the Emperor and Darth Vader dying a noble death? Yep, all of that was pretty much for nothing now. Not only that, they don't even give a good explanation of how he came back. He just came back, that's it. No explanation needed. Also, the plot of this movie was just terrible. This movie is so fucking unfocused and clunky. Like, its narrative is a complete jumbled mess. The way this movie was structured and put together gave me a fucking headache. Like, seriously, this movie was so all over the place and so fucking incoherent that I had a headache once it was over. It's pretty clear, watching this movie, that J.J. Abrams and the other screenwriters had no idea how to end this saga and how to end this trilogy. They just pull random ideas out of their ass. They bring in new twists and new plot points into this film that were not properly set up or properly established in the previous two films. This film is also littered with so many plot holes and inconsistencies that I don't even know where to begin. How about the fact that they established that Exegol is the Sith homeworld, and it's also very secretive? I mean, if it's the homeworld of the Sith, shouldn't hundreds of millions of people already know about it now, and already know how to get there without the need of some triangular pathfinder? In fact, why did the Sith even build pathfinders in the first place if they wanted it to be a secret? Also, the thing with C-3PO losing his memory after translating the Sith inscription on the dagger was completely pointless and inconsequential, because what was the point of having him lose his memory and make it seem so tragic if he's just gonna regain it back again? It didn't really affect anything. Also, in the movie, the characters fall into quicksand, I guess, and this quicksand that they sink into leads to an underground lair, which doesn't really make any sense, because if there's an underground layer beneath the quicksand, why didn't the quicksand sink then? There's really nothing supporting it. And if there was something supporting it, wouldn't that mean that the other characters wouldn't be able to go right through it? Also, I just want to get this out of the way. The way Emperor Palpatine was defeated was fucking lame. Lame. Like, seriously, I was actually expecting like an epic duel where Palpatine pulls out the red lightsaber he had from Revenge of the Sith and he goes into this really badass duel with Rey, but no. Rey just uses two blue lightsabers to deflect the lightning back at him, and he's defeated just like that. Wow. Really? That's it? Like, 4 fucking years of planning and that was your best shot? Also, Rey and Kylo kiss. Yeah. Now that will please all of the Reylo creeps on the internet. And never mind the fact that it was completely ham-fisted and came absolutely the fuck out of nowhere. And not only that, it didn't even make any sense. There's no way, not even in a million years, would they even kiss. Look, I know that he saved your life, but that still wouldn't warrant a kiss for him. Okay, let me just get Rey out of the way pretty quick. She's a Mary Sue. But come on, we can basically unanimously agree by now that she's a fucking Mary Sue. Like, she's way too perfect, way too overpowered. She stops a transport ship in mid-air with just one hand and fires force lightning involuntarily. Like, keep this in mind. It took Yoda, fucking Yoda, to struggle to even lift a pillar from the ground, and he did it with two hands. Rey, however, she just does it with one hand with ease, no struggle whatsoever. Also, the twist with her being the granddaughter of Emperor Palpatine, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Sure, you can argue that it would explain why she's so powerful in the Force, but again, the previous films, not even the prequels, even established that Palpatine even had children. So this idea that Palpatine had a son who is the father of Rey, it just comes out of nowhere, and it feels like the writers just pulled it out of their ass. Like, it's pretty clear they had no idea how to end this trilogy and how to end the Skywalker saga, so they just started pulling random ideas out of their behind and just forcing it into the script. Speaking of Rey, Poe Dameron was a fucking dick in this movie. Like, remember all the build-up and character arc in the previous two movies of him learning from his mistakes and becoming a better person? Nope, all of that is thrown out of the fucking window. He just starts throwing shade at people, and he just comes off really unlikable. He's basically the poor man's Han Solo, but without the charm or personality that made him iconic. And if you're wondering about Finn, well, they do absolutely fucking nothing with this character. I mean, Finn had so much potential to be a great character in this trilogy. They could have given him an amazing story arc, but nope. They couldn't even figure out what the fuck to do with him. Also, one of the biggest reasons this movie fucking angered me was the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren, they were fucking useless. Useless! They did absolutely nothing in this film. All they did was sneak and look around, and in the end, when they finally fight Kylo Ren, they get taken out like bitches. They didn't even stand a chance. Like, Jesus, this trilogy has been hyping up the Knights of Ren for 4 fucking years, and this is when we end up getting? Jesus Christ! Also, the new characters in this movie were fucking pointless. Like, Carrie Russell's character, the one with the bronze helmet, I forgot her name. That's how forgettable she is. I don't even know what to say about her. She is completely forgettable. She's so paper thin and did almost nothing to contribute to the narrative. She was just there. Even Naomi Aki's character, who I also forgot her name, did absolutely fucking nothing in this film. Sure, you can argue she did something in the end, but you can basically just swap out any of the other characters to do the same. Let me make this clear right now. Out of all the Star Wars films, this was the worst one. Yes, your ears did not deceive you. Rise of Skywalker is officially the worst Star Wars film I have ever seen. This film is so awful, it makes all 3 of the prequels look like masterpieces. Now look, you can go all day and all night on how bad the prequels were and how imperfect they are. Now look, say what you will about the prequel trilogy and how flawed it was way better than The Rise of Skywalker in 3 ways. 1. The prequels had a better structure. The prequels, all 3 of them, had a coherent setup and a coherent payoff. Was the payoff good? Not entirely, but at least they tried. Unlike Rise of Skywalker, which was so inconsistent it gave me a headache. 2. The prequel trilogy had a complete story. The original trilogy had a complete story. The prequel trilogy had a complete story. The sequel trilogy? I mean, with Force Awakens and Last Jedi, we did get some sort of clue that they might have had an idea on how to end this trilogy, but it was pretty clear watching The Rise of Skywalker that the writers had no idea how to end this saga, or even how to end this trilogy, and so they just started pulling random ideas out of their behind and forcing it into the script. And 3. The prequel trilogy didn't end the Skywalker saga in a way that was fucking insulting. Look, as flawed as the prequels are, and believe me, they are very flawed, at least they didn't end the Skywalker saga in a way that made me want to rip my fucking hair out. Well, that's all I could say about The Rise of Skywalker. It's clunky, unfocused, horribly written, and it ended the Skywalker saga in a way that made me want to burn down Disney headquarters. Don't even bother going to see this movie. Even if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, I don't even think that you would be able to enjoy it. Just stay home, watch porn, read a book, play a video game. In fact, watch the fucking Mandalorian. You can thank me later. Anyways, The Rise of Skywalker was shit. Don't go see it. Don't even bother. Rating F. Goodbye.